What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something absolutely insane. We've all had those days at work where things just don't go right, but I promise you, it's nothing like what you're about to see. I scoured the entire internet to find the most unbelievable, face-palm-worthy moments ever recorded on the job. We're talking about fails so epic, you'll wonder how these people even got hired in the first place. This isn't just a mistake or two. This is a masterclass in workplace disaster. You are not going to believe what we've compiled for you today. Coming up are some of the biggest idiots at work doing the most stupid things on camera. From forklifts acting like rogue bulls in a china shop to office pranks that escalate into pure chaos, we have it all. Seriously, I watched these clips and I was literally crying with laughter. It's a highlight reel of what not to do, ever. If you think your job is tough, wait until you see a simple coffee spill turn into a full-blown catastrophe that shuts down an entire office. It's going to be an absolute roller coaster of laughter and disbelief, so buckle up. Before we jump into this madness, I have a huge favor to ask. If you have an idea for a crazy video you want to see us make, click the link in the description and suggest a topic. We read every single one. And if you're new here, do me a solid and smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our next insane video. We upload all the time and you don't want to miss what's coming next. All right, enough talk. Let's get into the fails. All right, kicking things off with an absolute classic, the forklift. These machines are powerful, they're useful, but in the wrong hands, they become instruments of pure, unadulterated chaos. And trust me, we found the wrong hands. Look at this guy. He's got one job: move some pallets from point A to point B. Seems simple, right? Wrong. He approaches the stack with the confidence of a seasoned pro, but the execution of a toddler trying to solve a Rubik's Cube for the first time. It's a disaster waiting to happen. He nudges the pallet, just a little tap. But that tap is enough to set off a chain reaction that would make a Rube Goldberg machine jealous. The first pallet wobbles, then it leans, and suddenly, the entire shelving unit starts to sway like it's dancing to a beat only it can hear. You can see the exact moment the panic sets in on his face. He freezes like a deer in headlights, as if hoping that by not moving he can somehow reverse time. It's a valiant yet utterly useless effort. The laws of physics are not on his side today, and then it happens. The whole thing comes crashing down in a glorious symphony of destruction. Boxes explode, contents fly everywhere, and what was once a neatly organized warehouse aisle now looks like a disaster zone. It's a tidal wave of cardboard and shattered dreams. He just stands there amidst the wreckage, a lone survivor of his own catastrophic failure. You can practically hear his boss screaming from an office 50 miles away. This isn't just a mistake, it's a work of art. A beautiful, expensive, and probably career-ending work of art. I mean, look at the scale of this. He didn't just knock over a few boxes. He took out an entire section of the warehouse. That's not just a whoops. That's a we need to call corporate and maybe a structural engineer level of mess. How do you even begin to explain this to your manager? So, funny story. You know that inventory we had? Well, it's now a modern art installation on the floor. The sheer magnitude of the failure is what makes it so incredible. Honestly, I've seen some crazy things, but the domino effect here is next level. It's like he was trying to set a world record for the fastest warehouse demolition using only a forklift. And you know what? He might have just succeeded. The best part is the slow turn he does after everything has fallen, just surveying his kingdom of chaos. He's the king of fails, and this is his throne room. What a way to start the day. Let's watch another one. This driver seems to forget that forklifts have a certain height. He's cruising along, feeling the wind in his hair, probably thinking about lunch. He approaches a doorway that is clearly shorter than his raised lift. Does he notice? Does he slow down? Of course not. He plows right into it, and the entire top of the doorframe just explodes. It's a moment of beautiful, instant regret. The pure lack of awareness is what gets me every time. Okay, moving from the warehouse to the office, where the weapons of mass destruction are a little more subtle, we're talking about office pranks. A little bit of fun to break up the monotony of the workday, right? Well, sometimes those little pranks spiral out of control into something truly legendary. Case in point, this group of coworkers who decided it would be hilarious to wrap their colleague's entire desk area in plastic wrap. Classic harmless fun. Or so they thought. They did a thorough job, I'll give them that. The desk, the chair, the computer, even the stapler. Everything is encased in a cocoon of cling film. They're all hiding behind a cubicle wall, phones out, ready to capture their victim's reaction. You can see them giggling, barely able to contain their excitement. The pranky, let's call him Dave, walks in, coffee in hand, completely oblivious. He stops dead in his tracks, staring at the shimmering masterpiece of plastic that was once his workspace. At first, Dave is a good sport. He laughs, shakes his head, and starts trying to find a way into his chair. But the pranksters used industrial-grade wrap. This isn't your kitchen variety. Dave pulls, he tugs, he tries to find a seam, but it's no use. He's locked out of his own cubicle. This is where a normal person might go find scissors. But Dave is not a normal person. He decides the best course of action is to take a running start and dive through the plastic wall. You can see the prankster's faces change from amusement to genuine concern. This was not part of the plan. Dave takes a few steps back, winds up like an Olympic long jumper, and hurtles himself toward his desk. For a split second, it looks like it might actually work. He hits the plastic wall and it stretches, enveloping him like a giant transparent blob. But it doesn't break. Instead, it holds him, suspended in midair for a glorious moment. Then, gravity takes over. The plastic, still attached to the cubicle walls, acts like a makeshift bungee cord. Dave bounces back, gets tangled, and the entire cubicle structure, which was apparently not bolted down, starts to wobble. He goes down, taking the desk, the computer, and the entire cubicle wall with him in a tangled mess of plastic, office supplies, and shattered dignity. The pranksters are no longer laughing. They're staring in horrified silence. The aftermath is pure gold. Dave is lying on the floor, wrapped up like a leftover sandwich, surrounded by the debris of his former workspace. His coffee has gone everywhere, staining the carpet and what's left of his paperwork. The prank went from a funny gag to a legitimate HR incident in about 10 seconds flat. You just know the email that went out later that day was an all-caps masterpiece. A reminder: office pranks are strictly prohibited. You wouldn't think a simple cup of coffee could cause that much trouble. It's the fuel that powers the modern workforce. But when that liquid energy escapes its ceramic prison, it can unleash a wave of chaos you would not believe. We're about to witness a coffee spill so epic, it deserves its own disaster movie. Meet Brenda from accounting. She's carrying a fresh piping hot pot of coffee, navigating the narrow pathways between desks. What could possibly go wrong? She's trying to be careful, walking slowly, but then she encounters her arch nemesis, a rogue computer cable stretched across the floor. She doesn't see it. Her foot catches, and for a moment she performs an elegant mid-air ballet, desperately trying to keep the coffee pot level. It's a beautiful, yet futile dance against gravity. The pot tilts, the lid flies off, and a tidal wave of hot, brown liquid goes soaring through the air in a perfect arc. And where does this caffeinated projectile land? Not on the floor. Oh no, that would be too simple. It lands directly on top of the main office server tower, which is inexplicably sitting on someone's desk instead of being safely tucked away. The coffee pours directly into the top ventilation fan, creating a shower of sparks and a horrifying sizzling sound. You can see the lights in the office flicker for a second, as if the building itself is crying out in pain. Every single computer screen in the office immediately goes black. The server lets out a final pathetic puff of smoke and then dies completely. The entire office is plunged into a state of digital darkness and stunned silence, all because Brenda tripped. You can see the slow realization dawn on everyone's faces. No emails, no files, no work, nothing. They are, for all intents and purposes, completely shut down. The IT guy's face is a perfect blend of rage and despair. The best part is Brenda just standing there holding an empty, dripping coffee pot, looking at the smoking server like she just accidentally summoned a demon. She didn't just spill coffee, she spilled the company's entire workflow onto the floor. The cost of that single stumble is probably more than her annual salary. You can't make this stuff up. The sheer panic that ripples through the room is palpable. Deadlines are flashing before people's eyes. Imagine the call to the IT support team. Hi, yes, our server's down. Okay, what seems to be the problem? Did you try restarting it? Well, we tried restarting it with about a gallon of French roast. The ensuing chaos, the frantic calls, the sheer cost of the damage, it all started with one misplaced foot and a craving for caffeine. Let this be a lesson to all of us. Respect the power of coffee, both in and out of the cup. Alright folks, let's dive into a topic that we all know too well. We're talking about ladders, those trusty tools that help us reach the heights we aspire to. But oh boy, when you don't treat them with the respect they deserve, gravity has a hilarious and painful way of reminding you who's really in charge. Our first contender in the ladder fail Olympics is a gentleman who's on a mission to change a light bulb on a high ceiling. He's got this tall A-frame ladder, and he's nearly at the top. Just a few more inches and he can reach that bulb. But instead of doing the smart thing and moving the ladder, he goes for the classic ladder lean. He shifts all his weight to one side, testing the ladder's legs to their absolute limit. You can almost see the ladder start to wobble. It's like watching a slow-motion dance of impending doom. The guy is so focused on the light bulb, completely oblivious that his foundation is about to give way. And then it happens. The legs on one side lift off the ground and the ladder with him on it starts to tip over in glorious slow motion. He lets go of the light fixture and flails his arms wildly, as if somehow he can fly to safety. He rides the ladder all the way down, crashing into a nearby desk and sending a mountain of paperwork flying into the air like confetti. It's a perfect demonstration of why those warning labels on ladders exist. They aren't just suggestions, folks. Now let's move on to the next clip, which takes ladder stupidity to a whole new level. We've got two guys trying to get something off a high shelf, but they don't have a ladder tall enough. So what's their brilliant solution? One guy holds a smaller stepladder while the other guy climbs it. Yep, you heard me right. They've created a wobbly human ladder hybrid of pure instability. This has bad idea written all over it. The guy on the ladder is already shaking before he even gets to the top step. The guy holding it is straining, his face turning red, trying to keep it steady. It's a two-person disaster in the making. The climber reaches for the box on the shelf, which unbalances him even more. The guy below can't hold on, his arms give out and the whole precarious structure collapses. The climber tumbles down and the ladder clatters on top of him for good measure. It's a beautiful symphony of failure. The sheer lack of common sense is astounding. Why would you ever think that was a good idea? It's like they saw a cartoon and thought, hey, that looks structurally sound. The importance of safety, especially when working at heights, cannot be overstated. These clips are hilarious, but they're also a perfect PSA for what not to do. Please use your tools correctly, or you might end up as the star of our next video. The office copy machine, a marvel of modern technology that's supposed to make our lives easier. But sometimes, it feels like these machines have a mind of their own, with a sole purpose to cause us pain and suffering. This next segment is dedicated to the brave souls who have battled the beast and lost spectacularly. Our hero, let's call him Kevin, just needs to make a few copies. A simple task, right? Kevin approaches the massive, intimidating copier and places his document in the feeder. He presses the big green button, and for a moment everything seems fine. The machine whirs to life, but then a horrifying grinding noise begins. It sounds like the copier is eating a bag of rocks. The screen flashes a message that we all know and fear: paper jam. But this isn't just any paper jam, this is the mother of all paper jams. Kevin, with a heavy sigh, opens up the side panel of the machine. He's greeted by a horrifying sight. The paper isn't just jammed, it's been shredded, accordion folded, and fused together into a solid block of paper pulp deep within the machine's guts. He tries to pull it out, but it won't budge. So he does what any frustrated office worker would do. He starts yanking on it with all his might. This is a critical error. As he pulls, a tiny, almost invisible spring flies out from the depths of the machine and pings off the far wall. He doesn't notice it. He gives one final, mighty heave, and the paper jam comes free. But along with it comes a torrent of other essential copier parts, rollers, gears, and little plastic bits he will never be able to identify. He's holding a mangled piece of paper, and the copier's internal organs are now spilled all over the floor. He has not fixed the paper jam. He has performed an unsolicited and very messy autopsy on a $10,000 piece of equipment. He looks at the parts on the floor, then back at the gaping hole in the machine. And you can see the color drain from his face. He knows he has messed up on a biblical scale. He slowly tries to push one of the rollers back in, but it's no use. The machine is dead, and he is its killer. This is the ultimate example of technology fighting back. Kevin thought he could outsmart the machine, but the machine played the long game. It sacrificed itself just to ruin his day and possibly his career. He just stands there, surrounded by the evidence of his crime, a monument to his failure. The next person who walks up to make a copy is going to be in for a real surprise. R.I.P. copy machine, you will be missed. We're heading back to the warehouse, the natural habitat of spectacular fails. This place is an obstacle course of potential disasters, and some people navigate it with the grace of a penguin on a unicycle. Get ready for some of the most uncoordinated, clumsy, and downright hilarious wipeouts ever caught on security cameras. First up, we have a guy trying to carry a long pipe through a crowded aisle. He's holding the pipe horizontally, which is mistake number one. As he turns a corner, he fails to account for the length of his metallic jousting lance. He swings it around and clips the corner of a pallet stacked high with paint cans. The impact is just enough to destabilize the whole stack. For a moment, nothing happens. He turns and looks, and you can see the oh no expression form on his face as he watches the paint cans start to wobble. Then, the paint apocalypse begins. Cans start tumbling down, hitting the concrete floor and bursting open in vibrant explosions of color. Blue, red, yellow, green, it's like a Jackson Pollock painting created by pure incompetence. The floor is instantly covered in a rainbow of spilled paint, and the guy is just standing in the middle of it, his shoes now a lovely shade of crimson. He didn't just make a mess, he created a modern art installation. Now for our next warehouse wizard. This person is riding one of those manual pallet jacks, pulling a heavy load behind him. He's feeling pretty good, cruising along, maybe even whistling a tune. He decides to pick up a little speed. He starts running with it, a move that is never, ever recommended. The heavy pallet behind him gains momentum, and suddenly he's not pulling the pallet jack. The pallet jack is pulling him. He tries to make a turn, but physics has other plans. The weight of the pallet swings wide, and the handle of the jack is ripped from his hands. The pallet jack, now a freewheeling agent of chaos, continues on its path, heading directly for a stack of fragile items marked with about 100 fragile stickers. He can only watch in horror as thousands of dollars worth of product is obliterated by his runaway cart. These warehouse wipeouts are a special kind of funny. It's the combination of overconfidence and a complete lack of spatial awareness that makes them so perfect. One guy is trying to hop over a conveyor belt instead of walking around it. He misjudges the jump his foot catches, and he ends up riding the belt face first into a pile of boxes. It's a beautiful, slow-motion journey into failure. These aren't just accidents. They are carefully choreographed ballets of pure clumsiness. Okay, let's roll into our next category, the humble office chair. It's our throne, our chariot, honestly the one thing that provides comfort during a long day. But those 5 little wheels on the bottom can be, well, treacherous. They can turn a simple act of sitting down or just reaching for a pen into a full-blown physical comedy routine. And folks, we have found the best of the best when it comes to chair-related fails. So our first victim is a woman who is, intensely focused on her work. She leans back in her chair to have a good stretch, arching her back, totally lost in the moment. What she doesn't realize is that in her focused state, she's slowly, millimeter by millimeter, rolled her chair backwards. Now she's perched precariously on the very edge of a small set of stairs behind her desk that leads out of the office. She is completely oblivious to her impending doom. She finishes her stretch and goes to lean forward, but oh man, there's nothing but air behind 2 of her chair's wheels. The chair tips back and she disappears from the frame with a shriek. The camera angle from across the office is just perfect. 1 second she's there, stretching, and the next she's gone, vanished into the great beyond of the stairwell. Her co-workers' heads all pop up over their cubicle walls like prairie dogs, looking around in total confusion. Next up, we have the classic lean too far to grab something. This guy needs a file from the cabinet just behind him. It's only a few feet away. A normal person would stand up and walk. But this guy, he's a man of efficiency. He decides to use the power of his rolling chair. He pushes off his desk and glides backwards, one arm outstretched, reaching for the drawer handle. It's a noble and ambitious effort. He misjudges the distance, though. His fingers just brush the handle, but he can't quite get a grip, so he leans. He leans a little more, and then a little more. Now he's balanced on 2 wheels, his body contorted in a way that would make a yoga instructor wince. The chair can't take the strain. It just gives up, shooting out from under him and rocketing across the office. He lands flat on his back with a loud thud, his quest for the file a miserable failure. And, we can't forget the chair racers. 2 employees, clearly bored out of their minds, decide to have a race down the main hallway on their chairs. They're pushing off walls, kicking their legs, everything you'd expect. But one of them, in a desperate attempt to take the lead, pushes off a door just as someone is about to walk through it. The door flies open, hitting the person on the other side, and the chair racer loses control, veering directly into a large potted plant. It's a chain reaction of pure idiocy. Alright, so our next chapter is a tribute to the unsung heroes of commerce, the delivery drivers. These folks battle traffic, weather, and confusing addresses just to bring us the things we ordered online at 3 in the morning. But sometimes the final step of the journey, from the truck to the front door, turns out to be the most challenging part. So get ready for some seriously mishandled packages. Here we have a driver delivering a brand new, massive flat-screen TV. The box is huge, almost as big as he is. He's got it on a dolly and is wheeling it up the customer's driveway. Everything's going pretty smoothly until he reaches the front porch, which has 2 small steps. Instead of carefully lifting the dolly up each step, he decides to get a running start and just power through it. A bold strategy. It does not pay off. The dolly hits the first step and comes to an abrupt halt. The TV, however, keeps going. The massive box slides off the dolly, flips over in midair, and lands screen first on the corner of the concrete step with a sickening crunch. You don't even need to see the screen to know it's completely shattered. The driver just stands there, staring at the box, knowing he's about to have a very, very awkward conversation with the homeowner. Now, this next driver has a totally different problem: ice. It's a cold winter day, and the entire walkway to the house is just a sheet of pure, slick ice. He's carrying a stack of about 10 small packages, trying to be careful. He takes 1 step onto the walkway, and his feet instantly go out from under him. He performs a flawless, if involuntary, breakdance move, his legs flailing in every direction. He's trying so hard to stay upright, but the laws of friction are just not on his side. In his struggle, he decides to sacrifice the packages to save himself. He launches the entire stack of boxes into the air like he's trying to feed pigeons. The boxes scatter everywhere, sliding across the ice, and one even ends up in a puddle of slush. He, meanwhile, lands hard on his back and slides halfway to the front door like a human curling stone. Special delivery indeed. And you can't talk about delivery blunders without the classic package toss. This driver pulls up, grabs a small box, and sees the front door is maybe 20 feet away. Instead of walking, he channels his inner quarterback. He winds up and hurls the package toward the porch. It's a perfect spiral. Unfortunately, his aim is a little off. The package soars right over the railing and smashes directly through the living room window. That's one way to let them know their package has arrived. All right, now we're taking a trip to the construction site, a place where, precision and safety are supposed to be paramount. But when you get a bunch of guys, heavy machinery, and a long day, things can get a little silly. And sometimes, silly escalates into unbelievably dumb. Our first exhibit, two workers trying to move a large pane of glass. This is a delicate operation. It requires teamwork, communication, and, care. These two guys seem to have none of the above. They're carrying the glass panel between them, shuffling sideways. They need to get through a doorway. Instead of one of them going through first and guiding it, they both try to squeeze through at the same time. They get wedged in the doorway, the glass flexing dangerously. You can hear them arguing, one telling the other to pull, the other telling him to push. They're stuck. In a moment of sheer genius, one of them decides the best way to get unstuck is to give a powerful shove. The glass, unable to take the pressure, doesn't just crack. It explodes into a million tiny pieces. A shower of glass rains down on them. They're left standing in the doorway, holding nothing but the frame, looking utterly bewildered. Next, we have a guy operating a small excavator. He's digging a trench, but he seems to have forgotten a very important rule of digging. Don't undermine your own position. He digs the trench right alongside where his excavator is sitting. He keeps digging deeper and deeper, getting a little too close to his own tracks. The ground beneath the machine starts to crumble. You can see the excavator start to tilt. He tries to quickly swing the arm to the other side to counterbalance, but it's too late. The machine slowly, majestically tips over and slides right into the very trench he just spent all morning digging. He's now sitting sideways in the cab of his excavator at the bottom of a ditch. The irony is so thick you could build a foundation with it. He literally dug his own grave, professionally speaking. And finally, the simple act of using a wheelbarrow. This guy has loaded his wheelbarrow up with wet cement. It's incredibly heavy. He's struggling to push it up a slight incline on a wooden plank. He's straining. His face is red. He's giving it everything he's got. He's almost at the top when his foot slips. He loses his balance and the wheelbarrow tips over. But it doesn't just spill the cement. No, that would be too easy. The force of the tipping wheelbarrow throws him off balance completely. He stumbles backwards, trips over his own feet, and falls directly into a large, freshly poured concrete slab behind him. He lands flat on his back with a wet splat, and is now half submerged in wet cement. His co-workers just point and laugh. It's a hard day on the job. For our final chapter, we enter the most feared arena of the corporate world, the meeting room. This is where deals are made, ideas are born, and yeah, careers are sometimes ended by one incredibly awkward moment. We're not talking about physical disasters here, but social ones, which can be even more painful. And with the rise of video calls, the potential for mishaps has just gone through the roof. First, let's look at this poor guy in a very important video conference. He's dressed professionally from the waist up, shirt, tie, jacket. He looks great. He's in the middle of giving a presentation to what looks like the entire board of directors. He's confident, he's articulate, he's nailing it. Then he needs to grab a document that he dropped on the floor. He stands up, and that's when the world discovers his secret. From the waist down, he's wearing nothing but a pair of brightly colored superhero boxer shorts. The camera catches it all. He stands up, revealing his heroic underwear to a dozen stone-faced executives, then sits back down, completely unaware of what he's just done. You can see one person on the call stifle a laugh while another just puts their head in their hands, his professional image shattered in an instant. Next, we have a classic hot mic situation. A team is on a long, boring conference call. One of the participants, thinking she's on mute, starts having a very loud, very personal conversation with someone else in her house. She's complaining about her boss, who happens to be leading the call. She's complaining about her co-workers, who are all listening. She's complaining about the project they are currently discussing. She's holding nothing back. It's a masterclass in brutal, unfiltered honesty. Meanwhile, on the video call, you can see the faces of her colleagues shifting from confusion to horror to pure, unadulterated cringe. The boss just sits there, listening, his expression getting darker and darker. Someone finally manages to type in the chat, "You're not on mute," but it's far, far too late. The damage is done. That's a meeting she'll never forget. And how about this one? A guy is presenting his screen during a video call, showing off some sales figures. It's all going well. When he's done, he tries to stop sharing his screen, but he clicks the wrong button. Instead of stopping the share, he switches to a different tab in his browser, which just so happens to be his online shopping cart, full of questionable items. The entire team gets a detailed look at his very specific personal shopping habits. The silence is deafening. He doesn't realize his mistake for a solid 30 seconds, while his screen displays his bizarre purchases for all to see. He's just talking away, oblivious, while his coworkers stare in stunned silence, not knowing whether to laugh, cry, or immediately call HR. When he finally realizes and fumbles to close the tab, the meeting has been permanently derailed. There's no coming back from that. And that is it. We have witnessed some of the most incredible, unbelievable, and downright hilarious fails ever to happen in the workplace. From forklift demolitions to coffee-fueled server meltdowns, I think we can all agree that our worst day at work probably wasn't so bad after all. I honestly don't know how some of these people still have jobs. If you laughed even half as much as I did, then this video was a massive success. My stomach literally hurts from watching these clips over and over. Seriously though, a huge thank you for hanging out and watching with me today. My goal is to make the most entertaining videos on the planet, and I can't do that without you guys. That's why I need your help. If you haven't already, please do me a massive favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We have so many more insane videos planned, and you are not going to want to miss a single one. Being a subscriber is the best way to support the channel. And one last thing, I promise. We build our video ideas based on what you want to see. Your suggestions are everything to us. Click the link in the description and tell us what crazy topic or challenge we should tackle next. No idea is too weird or too big. We read all of them, and the best ones will become future videos. Thank you again for being the best audience on YouTube. We'll see you in the next one.